exciting about the design of how you can really in a nice way design your Power Apps, we're going to switch now to documents, and we're going to see how you can actually generate nice looking documents from a Power App, from a Power Automate flow, from Dynamics 365 or Microsoft 365. That will be the topic for the next hour, for document generation, and we're very happy to share this with you. My name is Lisa, I'm Senior Technical Evangelist for dox42, and I'm very happy that I'm here together with my colleague Fabian. Hi Fabian.
Perfect. Hello everyone. My name is Fabian. I'm also Senior Technical Evangelist at dox42. And yeah, as Lisa said, a document is always the result of a business process, and you can automate the business process, which is great, but also it would be better to automate the document generation at the end. And this is what we would like to show you today in this session. And we actually brought a lot of live demos with us, and I'm pretty happy to join to do the session together with Lisa, as she is our Power Apps expert at dox42. But before we start, we have a little secret to reveal. And
yes, and that secret, it's not a secret that we love the Power community. We've been part of the community for quite some time, and you can see some pictures here of back in the days when we still had in-person events. So that was one in London, that was in Zurich, in Munich, in Amsterdam, in Brussels. So we met a lot of people. And if you have a close look at those pictures, you can see that they have something in common. So Darth Vader has a Lego set, then someone else has a Lego set on stage, another person, and one more. So I guess you might get the clue. And we have a live quiz for you, and also a live surprise for you. So you can win this really awesome and nice Yoda if you take part in our quiz. All you need to do is you need to scan the QR code or follow the links and pay close attention during our session, because you might, if you pay close attention, you might be able to fill in all the questions correctly. And Fabian, please tell us what they should pay attention to today.
Yes, perfect, Lisa. Thank you so much. And just let me jump back to the quiz. So please keep your cell phones next to you, because we try to make this session a little bit interactive, and you might need them to scan the barcodes, because we have maybe some other surveys for you. And yeah, this time we decided to give a prize with Yoda, and also Yoda said, may the power be with you, or even he said, documents automate you must. And this is absolutely right, because you will see why in the next few minutes. Well, let me make this as full screen, and that might be better. So in the beginning, we just talk a little bit about document automation in general. What does we mean with that? And then there's just some slides about dox42, what we are basically doing. And then, as we promised, there's live demo and live demo and live demo, and we really stayed focused on the live demos. And in the beginning, I would like to show you in a little example, like an employee contract, how you can generate a contract. We will start from scratch, adding a new employee in a Sharepoint list, and then generate the contract automatically, either manually clicking on the button or just with Power Automate. And then Lisa, of course, will show us, because that's the main topic for today, Power Apps. So she will generate this contract directly in the Power Apps then, and she also will show you how she did the configuration for the Power Apps. And then, as we have in the Dynamics in the Power community, there's a lot of Dynamics CE around. We know this, so we will show you another scenario in a Dynamics CE environment, a sales quote, and this sales quote can be generated directly in CE, and it also contains data from different data sources and also some text blocks and documents stored in SharePoint. And this is another scenario we like to share with you. And also, if you have enough time, we will also have a closer look to PowerPoint, because a lot of customers require PowerPoint automation at the moment. So they really saw the advantages, just not to generate them manually, but to generate them automatically. There will be a Q&A slide at the end, so we have time, maybe 10 minutes or something for the Q&As. So it would be great to wait with your questions until the Q&A. But also, if there is important questions, you can always interrupt us, of course, or Lisa, maybe if you see a question that fits to the content that we are presenting. So of course you can interrupt me, and then we answer this question directly on the fly. Good. And as I promised, we love interactivity. Usually we would ask you when we are on site events, who does dox42 already know? And now you need to scan the barcode, please. And also then let's jump to the form, because I'm very keen to know who is already knowing dox42. And let me refresh this quickly. There are already 3 responses. I will share the barcode here one more time again, so that you have it. And there are 3. Maybe we get another responses. There's 3 guys not knowing dox42. That's great. That's good for us. They're coming more and more, and that's great. So a lot of guys don't know dox42 yet. That's great, because then we can show you something that might ease your life in document generation. So I see more and more there's a dox42 partner as well. So we love partners. Hello, partner. Nice to see you. And some guys know us from the community as well. But a lot of them I see don't know dox42 yet. So that's great. Then let's jump back into it. We will show you everything, I promise. Do we mean when we talk about document automation? And the most important thing is that we are talking about structured data. And wherever you have structured data, and when we see this systems here like FNO or CE, Business Central, SharePoint, or any SQL database behind it, even Excel, that's structured data. And this data can be retrieved from the system or from the data sources and can put into a document, and this document can then generate it automatically via dox42. And here's some examples. As Lisa already said, it's always when you need a good-looking document. So you need a well-designed document. And Microsoft Office is a perfect designing tool. You have a lot of designing features, and then you connect your data sources, and you can design all your documents then in Microsoft Office. And typical cases are like sales quotes, for example, where you need extended information, some logic in the quote, images, or any other documents to merge, or even every sales presentations, of course, sales reports, sales proposals, kind of PowerPoints. So a lot of these kind of documents, that's a very good use case for dox42. But of course, any others like invoices, sales order confirmations, all these documents where you get the data structured from a system, that's a perfect use case for dox42 to automate it with dox42. And we actually have 3 parts when it comes to, in our experience, there are 3 main parts how business life is creating documents. You will see them here. So it's copy-paste, which is good if you have not the huge amount of documents. If you have 1 or 2 quotes a month to generate, easy going, copy-paste is the best. And because you're very flexible and individual in the document generation process. But when you have a lot of documents to do, and all your work is just doing copy-pasting different documents, contracts, or even quotes together the entire day that you're working, then it's not a good way, because you're very slow and it's a cumbersome, not very funny task to do. So the reason why then is that a lot of guys just created some VBAs and apps and something which is good. It's the first level of automation. You are still very flexible and individual, but when it comes in a big amount of documents, you need a lot of documents generated, then it's too slow. And you also see it, we have the biggest problem actually if a lot of people are retiring who were building all these VBAs, and then you cannot adapt them, or you don't have any maintenance. So it's not actually the best way when you are serious in document generation and automation. So then, of course, there's Microsoft. You have SSRS, standard SQL report services. You have server-side automation, so you have performance. That's good, and 24/7, which is also good. but when it comes to flexibility and good looking documents, and yeah, then that's over, because you need to program everything, and it's a very unflexible way to generate your documents. And actually you see it here, corporate design by IT. IT is well known for a lot of great things, but not most of the time not for designing. So that's the reason, yeah, it would be better to make this process easier than programming documents all the time all around. Let's jump over this one quickly and just give a little bit an overview about these three guys here. You see the marketing department, they are most of the time responsible when it comes to documents about the corporate identity. Then you also have the business departments, they are responsible for the content of the documents. And then most of the time IT has, as I said, has to program everything together. What are the wishes of the three guys are here. But we have a different approach. So we said, wouldn't it be better if all of them working together on the document at the same time? And this is possible with dox42. As you are designing all your documents in Microsoft Office, you connect to your data sources. This is what IT can do. Then you don't need to program anything, and you can really design your documents in Microsoft Office. And everyone, like the business departments and also marketing, knows how to work with Office and can do changes to something else by themselves. And actually, this is one slide about us and how we exist. And you see it here, we're sitting in Vienna, as was said already. We have 105 partners. One of them is joining us. Hello, one more time again. And we have over 400 customers. And you see there is a little snippet from some of our reference customers. The most important thing is everybody has at the end a business process and has at the end of the business process a document, and everybody would like to automate the generation process. So we have customers across all industries, and you see it here, our USP is actually template design in Microsoft Office, Word, Excel and PowerPoint. And as we said, a lot of customers require PowerPoint at the moment. So yeah, just to show you that as well. And we can flexibly integrate the data. You will see this in the slide later. And also the document output can be created and configured very flexible. Then I just selected some of our reference customers, and especially ABB, for example, because ABB also, they are working in Dynamics CRM. They have a huge platform where they have their service reports generated, and you see it here. So basically, when you see the manufacturing part also is doing all the documents that we saw in the first slide. So you see offers, orders, invoices. This is structured data from an ERP system, for example. Also employee contracts. And we will see the sales quote today and the employee contract because of a lot of customers really need to generate these kind of documents. But even sales presentations and all these kinds of documents can be generated with dox42. Yeah, and I have a service slide here as well, so from our professional services. So you see it here as well, you do legal documents and something like this. And let me quickly jump over to the next. You see it here, Elena Schneider, Transgourmet, is telling us that the break-even point was reached after 4 weeks. And sure, if you have a huge amount of documents to generate, and there's some more people just working daily on this document generation process by copy pasting, then of course, if you automate this process, these guys definitely then focus on their core competencies again, and break even is reached very quickly. And also our reference customer Rewe, that's a huge supermarket chain, they are using an NAV system and doing the order process for their own retail brand completely automatically with dox42. And yeah, so we saw it now a little bit about dox42 and about some reference customers. Now the question is, Lisa, how does it actually work? How do we design our templates and everything else?
Yes, and I'm gonna show that to you. Still gonna be on slides before we jump to the live demo, but I think it's just good to get an overview of how dox42 actually works, so you will get the idea. Good. So, Fabian has told you before about the template design, how to generate the templates, also like as non-technical users within Microsoft Office. And here we can see on the left-hand side, this is how a dox42 template looks like, and on the right-hand side, the generated document. So you decide to either in Word, Excel, or PowerPoint can be your templates. And like, for example, here within Word, you will have an add-in which you can activate in Microsoft Office, and then you can simply design your template. And we can see like those blue placeholders here, we call them dox42 data fields, that they can not only be textual data, like here this turns into Selena Bentley, but it can also be pictures, it can be dynamic graphs we're putting in, it can be dynamic tables, you could add conditions, repeated sections, text blocks, Word documents, PDFs, you can insert a lot of different data and a lot of different fields. And before I'm going to explain you which kind of data fields you can actually integrate, we have another question for you. What technologies are you actually interested in? So I'm also gonna, you can scan the QR code, and I'm also gonna put in the chat the, whoops, that was the wrong one. I'm gonna put in the link to this question, so some live interaction where I would be curious which technologies you're interested in. And I'm gonna share this here with you so we can see nice, a lot of answers coming in. We have some Business Central, nice. We have a lot of people interested in Dynamics CRM. We're gonna share a demo about it as well. Power Apps, of course, is gonna be part of the demo. SharePoint, we're gonna show Power Automate. Nice, and many answers coming in. Great. Most of them Dynamics, and of course Power Apps and Power Automate. Great. Thank you for sharing that, what you're interested in. And then the good thing is all of the technologies you just chose, all of the technologies you just said you're interested in can be integrated in a document using dox42. So let's say you're generating your quotes from Dynamics CRM and you have your customer data coming from Dynamics CRM, like the address, like the information, but then you have some additional information like product pictures stored on SharePoint. You can integrate all of that within one document. You could also integrate data coming from databases, from Dataverse, of course, that's also supported, from XML, JSON, SAP, and so on. All of that can be integrated and without programming. We will see that in a live demo as well, but basically within your dox42 template in Word, Excel, PowerPoint, you have the data map designer, where you can decide which data source you want to integrate. Let's say Dynamics CRM. Then I'm just gonna type in my login information, and I can retrieve the data from Dynamics, and then I can simply drag and drop the data field into the document where I want to place it. And then the design is just how you use the Microsoft Office. So you would just mark a field, say it should be bold and in font Arial and font size 12, and it's basically how you design a Word or a PowerPoint or an Excel document. That's how the design works, and we're gonna see that in a live demo as well. And then you could also integrate, so you could also generate some reports, for example. You could integrate some dynamic charts, which you could make dynamic with the data from your system. So let's say, okay, you're using Dynamics Finance and Operations, this ERP system, and you want to run a sales report, how much you sold every week, then you could just, with a click of a button, generate a dynamic graph with data coming from Finance and Operations. That's a possibility. And then you can also integrate QR codes and barcodes just with a click. So what you've just scanned before in order to answer the quiz questions, you can just really add that to your documents and have a QR code leading to any address or leading to any website or any data you want to. You can also insert that into your templates. And then, of course, the output management. So you want to generate your documents within a Power App, for example. You want to generate your documents from a Power Automate flow. And then here you can decide with the output management how you want your document to be generated. Do you want to just create a Word document, a PowerPoint, a PDF, Or do you want to create the document and also store it to SharePoint? Do you want to make it available within Microsoft Teams and then do some further collaboration? That will be possible. You can send your documents straight away from a Power App via email. You could even have a draft email. You could sign it with DocuSign or any other e-signature tool, and you could even save it to your custom archiving system or data management system, like for example, Develop. So all of that can be done with a click of a button within a Power Automate flow or within a Power App, and we're going to see that. And then of course, yeah, this slide is very important for that. So dox42 works independently from workflows, but also in combination with the workflows. It can be any workflow tool, but of course, today the focus is on Power Automate and it's on Power Apps. And we are going to show you some exciting examples, I think. And Fabian, now is the time to prove that what we actually just talked in theory is also working in reality. Can you please start by showing us your live demo scenario?
Exactly. Perfect. Thank you, Lisa. I will just take my screen back. Perfect. So yeah, just the quick live demo schedule one more time again that you can see it. We will start with the Automate employee contract. So I just will generate a contract now in SharePoint, and then Lisa will generate the contract also directly in Power Apps. Okay, I jump directly into SharePoint actually. You can see my screen, I guess. So we have one modern employee contract list here, and you see some of our sample employees here. That's not very special, it's just a pretty easy SharePoint list with some salary, some special agreements, and position. And what I would like to do now is I would like to hire myself to dox42. And that's pretty easy because I just click here on new, and I would like to add a new employee here. So I will add myself with, that's my name. Then I add my email address here that everything is correct. And any phone, so my phone number will be anything. I just put anything here. And here you see there is different policy positions actually. So I have a sales manager here, a trainee to select, or a developer. And in my case, I would say I'm a sales manager. So let's hire myself as a sales manager. And now it is very important that you be focused and pay attention, please, because this one answers now the question number 3 of our quiz, where you can win the Yoda Lego set. What my special, because I love superbikes, so I negotiated a superbike with my management, and this is what I add in my special agreement. So I click here on this little button and say I will have a red superbike because I'm very fast, you know, and it has to be red. So we need to add the red color here and also bold, and maybe that's a little bit small, so let's make it like this. Okay. Somehow it's not working, but I don't care. It's good for me. Red superbike. I save this one here, and now my special agreement for the employee contract is a red superbike, which is great. And I need a salary of 5,000 euros. That's good. That would be great. So clicking here on save is adding a new employee here. You see it here. That's me, and that's with the number, the sales manager. Also, my superbike is here, the salary, and I have, of course, an ID. So what is dox42 now doing actually? What we did is we configured an app here. That's our dox42 app. You can see it here, where you can select from some of the output actions. And usually when you are working in HR and you edit a new list item and you would like to see the contracts as a preview first. And this is what I can do. I can generate it manually, automated of course, but manually clicking on the button and saying, please generate this contract and open as PDF, for example. And here are some other SharePoint action or output actions configured. But in this case, I just want to have the return action to see the new contract. Clicking on a button, you see it here is now calling our dox42 server. There is a Word template, which we will see in a second. And this information will be integrated with our dox42 engine into the document, and just the contract will be returned to preview. And here it is. So let me open this one. and put it somewhere here. So I have two screens, so sometimes, no, yeah, it's better. So you see it here, that's a new contract for Fabian Huber. So this is the data coming from SharePoint. This is the dox42 logo, which we added to the template. And here's some information, which is coming from SharePoint, Sales Manager. So that worked very well. I have the 5,000 and even my red superbike. And then at the end, there is an entire document. That's a Word document, actually. That's a specific policy for Sales Manager. And that's a Word document also containing my metadata. So you can merge different documents together if you want. So we will see this in the template in a second. But this helps a lot, especially when it comes to reports with 600 pages. You can also use different text blocks, different Word documents, any type of document to merge together with dox42. And also the table of content will be extended automatically then. Good, so I'm happy with this contract, but I would like to see and to show you the template for this contract, and also would like to add some data fields or even a barcode, for example. So let me go back to my SharePoint here, and we have a template list. You see it here, and this is where we store our templates and everything else. And there's this different policies. You see them here. I would like to show you the little policy for the sales manager. There's the developer, this is the trainee, and that's the sales manager. And then after that, I open the template. Okay, just that you see the different policies, different Word documents. This is what is merged at the end. So if I generate it for a developer, then of course the other document, the developer policy, will be taken and drawn into the document. Good, so let's open the template, and I actually have it already open. It's a Word document, which also was there in SharePoint. And what we have here is we have a dox42 add-in. So there in the ribbons or add-in, this is where you configure everything, actually, what you need. So basically, the most important thing is, Lisa has quickly shown it, you need a data map. The data map is a little bit the heart of your document. This is where everything, where the magic happens, actually. So this is what you need to configure first. Okay, basically, let me quickly open it one more time again, because it was too long to open too long. So let me go back to my SharePoint. I open it directly from scratch here. So let's go to we have a lot of templates here because we're playing around with a lot of stuff, and it's this one here. So because now it's just opening the template newly, and also it's downloading the data map directly from SharePoint, and then it will work immediately. So I just have to authenticate myself, it's me, and that's it. So back to the business. Here's my add-in, and this is my data map. And this is actually where we connected to the different data sources. So you see them here, there are a lot of them. We have here the standard modules with the SQL, Excel, Web Services, SharePoint. And if there's any system that is not listed here with Dynamics, then of course you can use most of the time XML JSON data source to connect to your different systems, especially when we're talking about Salesforce, for example, we use this data source. So we can really combine different data sources and the different systems directly here in your data map in your document. And what we did, we connected to the SharePoint list. We use an Excel file, for example, and there is no limitation. You can really use any channels and as many data sources as you need. And there's also filter opportunities. So this is where you need a little bit the logic. What I said, this is what IT can give you as a business department. And then after you have your data map configured, there is the insert data field, the data field explorer. And this is where you can just drag and drop your data into your document. And this is what I would like to do now with you. I just would like to add a new data field here. So let's say the email address is supposed to be here or something, and I will define this one as a barcode. So I just click here on the field. There are different types, and there are, you see, you can define it as a number, data, an image, barcode, PDF, Word. There are a lot of possibilities. So this is how you can merge different type of documents, Word documents, of course. And let's go for the barcode. I need to select the dimension here, and there are different QR codes or I guess there's around 40 barcodes out of the box, but let's stick with the QR code here. So clicking here, OK, is the email data field from SharePoint is now defined as a QR code within a second. And what I would like to do now is I would like to generate this document locally to see if the changes happened, if everything is good and everything looks good. And I always can generate my document locally. So clicking here on the button tells me I have to save my template and I need to add my ID. I guess that was 87. For the new employee, this is Fabian Huber that I added. So I would like to generate this contract for ID 87, for example. And now I just get this document generated locally and I get a Word document to see how this looks like. And what I would like to do now is I would like to add to put the two documents side by side. So it might be easier for you to see what happened. Let me just put this one here. And then this one here, and now let's see if I can synchronize this somehow. No, it's not really working, but let me close this one. And there's this little button to synchronize it. So, perfect. Look at this. So you see it here. There's the table of content. That's extending automatically. So the policy, of course, is included. So now dox42 in the template, there's just a data field, but after in the generated document, there is a policy at the end. So it's on page number 3. That's the title data field coming from SharePoint. Going further down shows you my barcode. That's the email data field that I added. And also, if you need to change the color or the font size of something, you just define the templates, you just highlight them and use Word functionality to change something. For example, the position data field is marked as bold. You see it here, that's a bold data field here, and that's the reason why the sales manager data field is then integrated as bold. Then going further down, you see here some conditions. So you can add conditions to your contract or to your documents. You can add it around the data field or even around text fields or text blocks. And you see it here, the policy, the sales manager gets everything, but if you generate a developer, for example, he will get other benefits included. So this is, we can really control your parts of your document with our conditions. And we added this number 6. If your salary is over, I guess 2,000, then you get this data, this sentence included. Otherwise, it's left blank, and the benefits are just continuing from 5 to 6. So you just don't have any wrong numbering here. And then if I go further down, there's also this, this, for example, is just included. So let me open one of the conditions here. Is just if the employee put this position equals sales manager, then this text block will be included. Otherwise, it will be left blank. And there's my red superbike, which is great. And at the end, you can see here just one data field. And this is exactly a SharePoint list or library. That's the template library where our policies are stored. And you see the URL path, that's the data field, just defined as a Word document, and then the correct document will be included. And you see, we have seen it before, it was in Calibri, the font was completely different, but it takes the font and from the master template, so everything is correct here then. Good, the formatting, that's the word. So the formatting also is included correctly. Good. So actually, we created a new document. We created a new barcode into our contract, and the biggest question is now basically, how can we automate the generation process, Lisa? Is there any possibilities to don't click the button to just generate the document directly?
Yes, there is. So we can actually generate that document from SharePoint. Can you please mute yourself, Fabian? Otherwise, I hear myself double. Yeah, now it works. So basically what Fabian has shown you so far is that he generated the document from SharePoint, that he generated the document locally, but we can also generate the document from a Power App. So if I'm on the move, for example, if I'm not in the office, or if I just want to have a really cool user interface, I can use Power Automate for that and the Power App. And I actually wanted to mirror my screen, my phone screen, where I have my Power my Power App on my phone with you. Unfortunately, it's not working, so I have to go back the old school way and show you my Power App on my PC. But that's all right, we're in a live demo, so those things happen. Just give me 1 second and I'll be ready to share with you. Good. So I'm gonna share my screen and I have my employee app for the document generation. So what we have here, we have a really simple but nice looking Power App where we have the dox42 new hires, and let's say I'm the HR manager and I'm responsible to create the contract for our new employee. And what I'm going to do is I'm simply opening my Power App, and then I'm selecting my employee, and I'm going to say this time this is Fabian Huber. I can see, great, okay, Fabian Huber, his email address, his phone number, he's going to be added as a sales manager. He's getting a red superbike. I want to make an adjustment to that as well. I say I'm going to underline it and make it italic and do some changes to that. Salary, he's got a 5,000 euro salary. Let's make it even 6,000. So he really wants to join us. But great, so those are his conditions. And now I want to generate the document for him from my Power App. And all I need to do is I need to click the button, generate employee contract. And what that's doing is that's actually triggering a Power Automate flow. And it's also triggering dox42, our dox42 online server. And there we say, hey, please take the employee contract template, generate a contract for Fabian Huber, and store it in Sharepoint. So this is how we've defined it. So let's have a look now. We have an employee contract for Fabian Huber generated, and it should be stored within our Sharepoint now. So I'm going to my Sharepoint and I'm going to my all contracts library, and I'm gonna double check, and I'm gonna go from newer to older, and then I can see about a minute ago, because we are working here within an Azure Active Directory context, I generated the document for the employee Fabian Huber. So we have metadata here, and here we can see the name contract Fabian Huber Power App. And let's just have a look at the document. So we can see once again, it's the employment contract for Fabian Huber. I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger, so for everyone to see the employment contract for Fabian generated here. And then here we have the QR code that's added. And then down below, we see the red superbike formatted the way I formatted it. Great. And of course, the sales remuneration policy. So we have all of that here. But then if I go back, I see there's another contract actually added for Fabian Huber. And this was a separate Power Automate flow that was triggered, and the document was also stored here. So basically we want to ensure that every time something is changed or something is edited within the data, a document is generated automatically and stored automatically to our Sharepoint list. So in case someone forgets to click the button, for an example, there's also a flow triggered. And just to show you, also here within this flow, we have here the special agreement, the red superbike. Good. And now let's have a look how our Power App is actually structured. So what does it take in order to get such a Power Automate flow triggered from our Power App? So let's have a look. Let's go to our Power Apps. I'm gonna go on edit here, and we are then within, yes, let's get started. And getting things ready. And I think I'm gonna afterwards change a little bit the UI, because I got inspired by the session beforehand. So right now here we see it's just a very simple UI, but It's including our logo. It's including our SharePoint list. But I learned some cool new tricks today to make it even cooler. But let's have a look. So this is just a normal page. And if I then go to my details screen, for example, here I have my Bodo Botschafter with all the information. And then here I just have my button, the Generate Employee Contract button. And if I go to Action, we see that back here we have a Power Automate flow associated with that button. So once we click it and it takes the title, and now let's have a look at this Power Automate flow. I already have this page open. So what does it do? It says, okay, when an action is performed within Power Automate, so when I click the button, it actually gets the items from my SharePoint list. So in my case, it's my employee SharePoint. It gets the list name, and then it applies to each the value, and then there we have a condition, and if the condition is not met, nothing has happened. It's just how we define it. But if it happens, then the dox42 document generation is triggered. And what it does, so quickly for you to know, this is a dox42 Power Automate connector. It's also available on the Git repository, so you can import it into your Power Apps if you want to set up Power Apps yourself. But basically, what we say dox42 here is to generate the document. We give here the document title, so it should be a dynamic title. We say which metadata should be added and in which SharePoint site and library it should be stored. And that's basically the magic behind that Power Automate flow, behind the Power App. Good. And this scenario, this example of a Power Automate and a Power Automate flow can be applied to any scenario you're working with where you're using dox42. So we asked you in the beginning what technology you're actually interested in. And a lot of you have mentioned that they are interested in D365 CE. And this also works with CE or, of course, with the Dataverse connector. So let me just quickly show you an example on how to use Power Automate within a CE scenario. So here I have my quotes page. So I'm within CE and I want to generate a quote now. So before was an employee contract, now I'm generating a quote. And what do I have here? I'm selling solar panels. I have some quote information here, like here's my quote ID. I have my customer, Adventure Co., and like my customer is Michaela Mitarbeiter. I have some information here, like I have 3 different products I want to integrate. I have some discounts and then some further information. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust and change something here. So I'm going to say it's not going to be 10% discount, it's a bit too much. It's going to be 7% discount. And I'm saving it so we will see that all of this is live data. And also in addition to that, so we're taking, for that example, we're taking data here from Dynamics, but we're also integrating data from SharePoint. And so we're actually generating a quote that's integrating data from different systems because we want to have a really compelling quote. And I'm just going to show you an example of, for example, here, this SunPower Deluxe. We have that cover letter, that Word document we're going to integrate in our quote, which we're going to show you, or we are also integrating actually an Excel document stored on SharePoint within our quote where we actually calculate our service hours. Great. So just for you to know, there's some additional data we're integrating. Good. And now there are 2 ways again. So on the one hand side, a Power Automate flow was triggered already that generated the document and stored it for me. I'm going to share it with you in a second. But on the other hand, what we could also do is we could just here use the dox42 integration in CE, click a button. I could, for example, say, okay, I want to create a draft email with dox42 where I'm generating my document even within an email. And let's have a look now how it's gonna look like. So now basically the document generation was triggered outside of the Power Automate flow, and I'm generated a draft email plus the quote in the attachment. So here we have an email to Michaela Mitarbeiter, who is the customer within the system. We have our quote ID here. We have some pictures because basically this email body was the dox42 Word template. And in the attachment with a dynamic file name, we have our document. So here you see I also had it marked in yellow in the Word document. We have some pictures integrated here. We have a dynamic table with product info. We see 7% discount here. This was the Excel file from SharePoint, which we've seen, which we've added here. And then down below, we have some more pictures integrated. Good. And this is how it looks like when I work as a sales employee here, for example. But then once again, in the background, as soon as I changed something on the quote, we had the sales quote. If I go here to my sales quote, we had it generated, and we see 2 minutes ago, the document, the quote solar panels was generated. And just gonna zoom in for a second. And here we can see a 7% discount. So once again, this was Power Automate. And of course, so we just want to show you different ways. So you could generate the document from here. You could have also triggered it from a Power Automate or with the Power App in the background. Good. And those were my live examples, my live scenarios. Fabian, let me get back to you now.
Yes, perfect. Thank you so much, Lisa. I share my screen one more time again. Basically, we just have two, or actually one demo left. It's the employee list in PowerPoint. So we saw a lot of Word and PDF generation. Now we would like to see a PowerPoint. And this is actually, 2 days ago, I had a chat with a customer, and he wanted to do the exact thing what I would like to show you right now in SharePoint. And this is basically an employee list. And this employee list also contains some sales data within a SQL database. So you see here information from employees, images and some achievements and something else. And then in the background, there's a SQL database where all these employees here have some sales figures or sales numbers in different countries. And you can integrate all this information also from the SQL database and also integrate your diagrams and graphs for the specific employee here, for example. And this is what I would like to show you, because usually when you're working in lists, you would like to filter, for example. So let's say larger to smaller, for examples. So we have the best employees on top, but I would like to select Angela and also Dr. Cloud. And I would like to have a PowerPoint presentation with these two employees included, as well as their sales figures coming from a SQL database. So again, I click here on my button, and there you see different outputs. And these outputs are completely flexible, configurable. So you're completely free what kind of document type you would like to generate, or what kind of output you would like to have. This is up to you. This is what you require. And we would like to have the sales report PPTX. Let's take the design number 2. So you can also use different designings, of course, maybe for some different customers. And let's go for the design number 2. So basically now the document is generated, and the information from SharePoint as well as the SQL database will be included, and I will get a PowerPoint. Great. Here we are using full cloud. So everything that we have seen is our full cloud server, but we also have a perpetual version. So just to tell you about that, it's completely up to you what you prefer. Then I open this one, and you see here my PowerPoint, and here is Angela and Dr. Luftiku's cloud is included. And Angela has an image coming from SharePoint, of course, and also her contact information is directly from SharePoint. And this slide here, that's what I was talking about. This is the information coming from the database, and the graphs and diagrams, they are dynamically generated within an Excel in the background. Everything you can configure in Excel, you can also include then as an image into the document. So this is for Angela, their sales figures, and for, of course, Dr. Luftius Claudia, you have different numbers and figures, and they're here listed. Just to show you quickly that there are so many use cases. We for example, do our sales presentations, of course, completely automatically. There are many use cases, and you don't need to do one with dox42. You can really do a lot of them, and contract quotes, sales presentations, something like that. It's always a very good use case for dox42. Okay, so I see we have 10 minutes left. We saw a lot of live demos. I just would like to show you a little summary slide, and then I would say that we jump to the Q&A, and also the price is there. So you can also, I will share the link for the price as well. And now you're ready to answer all the questions, for example, of course. Let me quickly open this one here. So we are here, and let's do the summary. Just to remember, so we saw a lot of document generation, template design happens in Microsoft Office, and you can really flexibly integrate different systems, can integrate, and also as output, you can integrate the server in different systems. So you're completely flexible, you're very quick to react when you automate your documents and don't copy paste them. And yeah, that saves a lot of time. I mean, that's for sure. And that brings me to our Q&A. Lisa, is there anything? Do you see anything in the chat? Because I just still have my screen shared.
Yes. Yeah, there were a few questions. One asked how to encrypt your app for security. Yeah. So within the dox42 add-in, you have a crypto data source. So basically, you can encrypt all your information. You can encrypt all sensible information. Plus, you have to know that dox42 doesn't store any data. It doesn't store any information on the server, on the app. It really just takes the data at the time of generation and inserts it into the document.
And our cloud service is working with Azure Active Directory. So all the permissions that any user has, this is the same permission that the dox42 server has. So it takes the token, it gets through the service, and just if everything is correct, then the server is allowed to generate the document. So this is why sometimes you saw maybe the window popping up and that you have to authenticate. So if I download the template, of course, I have to authenticate myself. And yeah, that's the kind of Azure Active Directory encryption, more or less, for security.
Exactly. Before I go to the next question, Fabian, can you share the QR code once again for the quiz, so that no one is missing our quiz?
Yeah, it's a very good idea. So
yeah.
Here is the quiz, and I also shared the link in the chat, so then you have it all there. And I'm pretty sure that's 1,771 pieces. So a lot of work to do with Yoda. Good luck for everyone, actually. And yeah, are there any further questions?
Other question, what languages can it support, Arabic or Mandarin? I can also answer that. So basically, it can be any language. So we have customers generating documents in India, we have customers in Russia, we have customers generating documents in China. So it's really the languages you have installed on the server can be supported. It can be any document, any language you choose. And then it asks, someone asked, how do you connect to data sources, live pools or batch jobs? Asking this because ERP always has performance issues on month ends for live pools, and can documents be generated in batches? Yes, so documents can be generated in batches, and dox42 pulls the data at the time. So when you click the button, the documents are, the data is pulled and the document is generated. Hope that answers the question. Then I think there's someone else. Okay, someone couldn't rejoin today, or no. For generating reports, can we insert pictures? Yes, you can insert pictures, and the pictures can be stored anywhere. They could be an attachment in SharePoint, they could be stored in Dynamics, they could be stored in a database, they could be really anywhere.
Yeah, we have seen the pictures at the end in the PowerPoint presentation, and it really doesn't matter if this is a Word template to design, it's exactly the same. Normally a contract doesn't contain any pictures, yeah, but we have seen it in the sales code. There were a lot of pictures as well. So.
And you generated a document from the mobile app. Is there a way to receive a link to the document on a mobile device or automatically open the document on the device? Yeah, so you could to automatically open the document on the device. So we have a return action, so that generates the document and returns it to you. And then for the link, yes, so you could also configure within the flow, within the Power Automate flow, that actually a link is generated to where the document is stored. Any more questions to us?
On that note, I just have to say there are some winners for the dox42 campaign promo code. So whilst I have 1 minute, I will quickly announce those winners. So we do have Denitsa Rediver from SQLI. So congratulations, you do win the Power Apps Developer book. Also Trish Gillam from the Habitat Company, Kitty Bentley from the Canadian Medical Association, and Rob Alter from Altafor. So congratulations, and those books will be sent to you shortly. Back over to you guys.
Perfect. Congratulations. Yeah, actually, we don't have that much left, but there's the Dynamics 365 Bootcamp in June 25th, I guess. And yeah, we will happy to show you something over there as well. And Lisa, do you have to add something else? We will just share our LinkedIn profiles.
Feel free to contact us. So you could get a 30-day free trial. We could do a personal online demo for you. You could just simply share your scenario with us, either via LinkedIn or via email. You have our email addresses and also the general dox42 email address up here. And yeah, thank you for your questions. And it was a pleasure once again, and enjoy the rest of the day or evening or morning, depending on where you are in the world right now.
Perfect. Nothing more to add. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. All the best for you guys.
Thank you once again. Please share your contact details in the chat if that's okay.
Yes, we will.
Thank you guys. Thank you once again, dox42. See you soon.